Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast with our host, Kim Sorrelle. Kim, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest.
I'm doing great. Thank you, Neil. And yes, I am excited about our guest, Derral Eves. I've been dying to talk to you because you are in the book of Guinness records. You hold a record. And I don't know many people who have, but you are like YouTube guru. Like you're the person that everybody wants to know to expand their brand on YouTube. And the things that you've done for Chosen, executive director of Chosen, I think that's one of your biggest passions right now. I am just thrilled to meet you. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Kim and Neil. I'm excited to be here. Anytime I can talk about The Chosen is a great day, let me tell you.
I feel the same. I feel the same. I tell everybody I know about The Chosen, and if they haven't watched it, I harass them until they do because it is
You're one of
so
those,
good.
Kim. You like to harass me, like, "Hey, have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet?"
I'm totally. I have the
We've been
shirts.
praying for people like you for a very long time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the prayers, but it is so good. It really is so good. And I know that people would not be watching it if they didn't know about it. And that's one of the areas you have been so instrumental is getting word out there. You're the king. You're the best of the best of the best in doing it. And I looked at the Chosen channel, and is it almost 3 million subscribers?
Yeah, 3 million subscribers. There's really excited about that. I think the thing for me is, the show's so great. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's done in a fresh way where you get to see what Jesus did 2,000 years ago, but through the eyes of those that he called. And it's just a beautiful character-driven, TV show. And I love it. I think what's great about The Chosen is easy to promote because once people watch it, they feel and they get it and they want to share. And so they might not harass as much as you, Kim, but I wish they did because that would help us get to the billion views that we need, or billion viewers that we need. So
And Derral, how much of your experience, understanding YouTube and the algorithm being part of this team has helped because you guys started out just on YouTube? People don't understand that, where it's
yeah.
come from the beginning when you first started.
Yeah, so we did the approach a little bit differently, which is we first had to get funded, and so we looked at how do we communicate what we want to do with the people that we would be more apt to help us and get behind us. And believe it or not, we didn't start on YouTube. We started on Facebook,
Oh,
and
Facebook. Wow.
the reason why was it was so easy to share. It was so easy to connect. And then as we started to broaden out and says, oh, we're going to go behind the scenes and kind of talk about how we're going there and what we're going to do. That was the strategy. Then we started implementing YouTube to go from there and then getting more of that live connection. But I would say my skill set isn't necessarily like the YouTube portion of it. It'd be more audience development, like developing an audience that would actually be passionate about what we're creating, and then also turn into like a social army of helping more people be aware of it. And so for us, we've had some great opportunities there, but knowing social media has been a game changer because there's a lot of projects like The Chosen that never see existence because they don't get the funding. But we found the people that were passionate about what we wanted to create, and they helped us break the all-time crowdfunding record. And now we're here, just finished up season 5 production and moving into post-production. And next year we'll have season 5 come out, which is amazing to think about. Just 7 years ago, it was just an idea.
There has been so much that you have done, that the show has done, that is out of the ordinary. It's yes, you did Squatty Potty. Maybe that helped you out to, be part of something brand new like that. But it is like to be in theaters.
Yeah.
That was, I thought, genius and a way to bring in revenue, which is uh, crucial to the show. And normally, like, you watch Seinfeld and you never give them any money, but they're right.
Right.
But with The Chosen, that's part of the whole deal is you have to have enough money to continue making this great show.
Yeah, it's a very expensive show to make. I mean, it wouldn't be expensive if we weren't First Century because like you can't just go to Amazon and buy like the stuff that you need to be in the show. You have to create. There's a lot of heavy lifting on that. Period pieces are always expensive. But that being said, when we really break it down with the content, it's just beautiful. It's around if it's around Jesus's life, and I think there's so many people know of him, have heard of him, but then they never really imagine of how his relationships really were. I mean, they just go and read, oh, here's a miracle here, whatever, and there wasn't a lot of context. There wasn't a lot of things that could have led up to that. And I look at our society today, and there's just a lot that's going on that's very similar to what happened in first century. And so there's some great opportunities to connect, and there's great opportunities where we can see ourselves in situations. And I think that's where Dallas and the writers have just knocked it out of the park. And then two, that help get more people aware where they're buying, our merchandising, which helps fund the show, which is going on different platforms, which helps the show. And just context, the reason why we go into theaters is to have people, discover it in a new way.
Yeah.
And then give an opportunity to go and pull people to go to the theater with them, because nobody likes to go to the theater alone. They're always bringing somebody with them. And that gives the opportunity to invite people to, come and see what The Chosen's all about. And so for us, that's kind of the strategy there, but it would never work if the content really didn't connect. And now, here we are, going into another venture, which is going more internationally, getting in more languages. Our goal in working with the Come and See Foundation is to get over 600 languages translated into for the show, which is not common. You're lucky to have maybe 13, and we're past 80 now, which is great.
And that's so interesting when you talk about this whole development and growth factor. Now, with The Chosen, are there some special things you can tell us without giving anything away of what to expect? Because, people could have started season 1, but what is new for all these Chosen, fans saying, if I could have minutes with Derral, this is what I'm going to ask, but not give it away.
You have no idea, Neil. Like, my phone blows up after an episode. It's like, you got to explain yourself. What is going on here? And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's too invested in this, which is good. I would say if you want to know what's going to happen in the show, just crack open your Bible. It's all there. It's like literally. But in seriousness, the end of season 4, Jesus was just getting ready to go into his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, and it's basically all of season 5 is the Holy Week. Oh, wow. And I cannot wait. And what I've told people before is every character storyline has put in place for the rest of the show. Like every conspiring activities or struggles that's happening, those stories are now set in play, and we get to watch it unfold. And we know how the story goes. And the world knows how the story goes. And this is going to be the best time for a lot of people to come into it, is around the last week, and then moving on to season 6, which is the crucifixion, season 7 is the resurrection. And these are the most iconic moments of the Bible and of his life. And so it's going to be beautiful to watch. I think it'd be really easy to get people come into it, and then also have him go back and want to start binge watching the whole thing.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. I love that. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you said that the crucifixion is season 6. Now I'm not so afraid to watch season 5. So thank you for that.
Well, Kim, I want to warn you, get your tissues, you're going to need it. And okay, if you're really smart, buy some stock into Kleenex, because you're gonna go through a lot. So
wow. So Holy Week is very interesting, and releasing it earlier, it's going to get a rewatch big time when Holy Week really comes. Did you ever think of that?
We don't have the release dates yet.
No, so it could potentially could be the same time.
It could be like we're still in the mode of how we're going to deliver it. We're always trying to do stuff fresh, and so we should have some announcements, as the months, go by, of when that's actually going to release.
Yeah, that's so cool. If I have any ideas for you, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh, you have a lot of ideas. we get a lot of ideas too. Which is fun.
I'm sure that you do. I'm sure you do. Yeah, I just want to say too that I appreciate so much all of it. And I know you've also been instrumental in finding the sets, where to be, and they're so good. But you've
Yep.
had some interesting things that you've just been able to kind of go into, right? With
Yeah,
sets.
it's pretty fun. What I love is I think God knows kind of our capabilities and who we are personally. I'm a person that have lofty goals and like to push towards those goals or make things happen. That's just kind of the way that I am. Dallas, some of the other thing, he's like, I can't deal with the outcomes. I'm going to just make an amazing product, you know? And so we kind of blend together. But I'm not going to over exaggerate this because it is the truth, but God's always provided what we need at the right time. Like we've been desperate, like we always had our hand out waiting, you know, but God's always given us the things that we need at the right time. I want to share one with you because this is one that is an interesting story that not a lot of people know. But in season one, we actually had boats, first century boats, and you just can't go buy a boat like that, right? And so we found one in California, and it was with a company that sold or rented stuff out to movie and TV shows and stuff like that. And out of the blue, they just said, "Yeah, you don't get the boat." And we literally had weeks away that we needed that boat, like literally 2.5 weeks that we needed a boat. And we're just like, what do we do? And it's not like you can just not have the miraculous catch and not have a boat. And so we're scouring the internet. We already did a lot of research before, and it was just like, oh man, what are we going to do? And we found a boat maker. And usually to do a boat like that, it's going to take about 8 months, with the process with it. And we called him up and said, you know, we're desperate. We need this right after Thanksgiving. Like we have to have it right after Thanksgiving. And it was like 2.5 weeks. And I kid you not, he goes, I believe what you're doing and I believe in God and God will just make it happen. And he took on the project. And so anyway, the moment that we got out of the hiatus during the Thanksgiving week, that boat was on the freeway, drying. The paint was drying on the freeway, and we get it to that shot. Like we like literally we it was just done. I mean, he pulled some all-nighters and had
Oh
a
my
whole team
goodness.
come in, but it was done and it floated, which was we just didn't know if it was going to float or not, you know. But it was just a miracle, and it was also people's willingness to go over the top. And he did. Like he didn't have to, you know, meet that
No,
deadline. Like it
not at
was
all.
like an 8 month process, but it was that miracle of him accepting it and his hard work. But what I love more than anything else, it was his heart, you know, he's willing to give it all for this.
Absolutely.
And that moment, most people will see the moment for what it is. But every time I see that boat and that scene with Jesus and Peter and that struggle, I'm thinking of that guy that stayed up, you know, sometimes 18, 20 hours a day, just trying to finish that boat so we could have that scene.
Absolutely. We appreciate it, Derral. Check out The Chosen everywhere. There's no reason to ask anywhere. We all can find The Chosen everywhere. Appreciate it, Derral. Thanks again. And I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. That's a special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show on the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.